Welcome to another live feed on our Shopping's YouTube channel. Let's get into it, man. The Flavor Unit, underrated rap clique. I think they are. When you talk about cliques, historically, you talk about the Native Tongues, Collective, Juice Crew, Death Row, Bad Boy, Flip Mode Squad, Def Jam, Def Squad, Hit Squad. Like different cliques in the history of the Dungeon family. You know, certain cliques that, the boot camp clique, boot camp clique. That's another one. But I think the Flavor Union is very, very underrated. We talk about the things that they did from New Jersey and New York, but mostly New Jersey, holding it down. Because the original Flavor Unit is best known for launching the careers of Annoyed by Nature, Queen Latifah, but at their creative peak, and rest in peace to Mark the 45 King, one of the greatest producers of all time. Very underrated as a producer. It seemed like New Jersey MCs could hold their own against the best from Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Long Island. It's a Jersey thing, man. I'm quite sure, according to research, I had people from New York and all that, but this is mainly from New Jersey, the Jersey MCs. Um, Lati, Chill, Rob G, Kim Chabaz, they displayed strong voices, even tougher vocabularies, backed by their irresistible horns and bass lines of the 45 King. Unfortunately, much like their more famous contemporaries, the Juice Crew, it wasn't long before record label politics, egos, and money issues saw them splinter. Even Queen Latifah and her partner Shakim to reassemble the crew into two subsequent incarnations and carry on the name as a film and television company. So there's a history of these guys, these individuals that were part of this crew. Like Chill Rob G. He's best known for Ride the Rhythm, having his rhymes used on Snaps the Power. He made songs like, Chords in Section, songs like that. Chill Rob G was friends with Apache and Lati, and they went to high school together in Jersey City. And they moved to Irvington. That's where they met Mark the 45 King. And Mark had just moved to Irvington from Queens. He was living in Hollis. There's a dude named Marky Fresh. He's one of the first MCs to work with 45 King. He released a solo single on Jive in 1989. Talk about how, moving to New Jersey when he was about 16. He went to school one day and this guy brought him to take, man. I was like, man, where you get that from? He said, from this guy named Mark. He was around the corner from the school. I went over there into the basement. I was there every day after that because he was the only one in Jersey playing hip hop. Everyone else was into the house and house music. He would have all the breakbeat parts, and I would just rhyme over it. I used to kill and Peace the President. I was the first one down in that basement. After 3 years, that's when everybody else came out of the woodwork because Mark started becoming known. Double J, he dropped the album on 4th and Broadway called The Hitman. He says that himself, Apache and Lati, went to school together. He said he wasn't willing to write rhymes because he wasn't trying to raise a kid. He was trying to raise a kid real early. So when the music wasn't giving me no checks, according to Double J, he still got to put milk on the table and buy Pampers. So he had to keep living the street life and rhyme every chance he could. Me with the Mark in '86, I heard everybody speaking of the basement. But when I started out, we were in the attic in East Orange. Mark had a microphone screwed to the wall, like 4 mics lined up, and everybody used to come up there rhyming. We started to make so much noise he had to leave. Then we went to the basement where we continued making noise. You got like Kim Shabazz, Righteous MC, who released 2 albums on the Tough City label. He said when he first met Mark, it was through this guy Abdul that was managing him. He let Mark hear his demo. It was called Girly Girly Girl. He said he had actually did a Grover Washington Mr. Magic beat with his mouth. He beatboxed the whole beat, and this guy used to hang out with named OP, used to go up to Mark's basement. And eventually he took him up there and would sit around 45 King's basement, watch videos of him spinning Tito from the Phillies for rhyming. Kim Shabazz had to be around the late 11th grade at the stage. He graduated from high school in '86. He started hanging out with Biz Markie. Around 1988, Biz was working on the Vapors album going off. He was telling him that he needed to wait for him. But Kim Shabbat was eager beaver. He had met 45 King. So Monkey Fresh said he met Latifah, then he brought in Patchy. Then Latifah came down. Everybody looked at her as a girl that wanted to be on the baseball team, but didn't think she could hit any home runs. But we let her try out. She killed it. She became a member. And Chill Robert G says that he met Latifah at a party. He told him that he knew this guy who did beats. He should come by the crib. So Gerard G went there one night and Mark put a beat on and everybody started rhyming. He just passed the mic to me. I said a couple rhymes that I hadn't written. Always just wrote rhymes just for the blank of it. He asked Latifah for my phone number and called me up like a day later and was like, yo Rob, what you were saying in the basement was kind of dope. I want to make the record with you. The 45 King, aka Mark James, the DJ and producer behind the 900 number, Ladies First, Stand and Hard Knock Life. Going to 45 King, he said the turnstile, it was in front of somebody's house that lived down the block from me on Stuyvesant Avenue. It was there every night when I used to come home from work. I walked by one day, I called him outside and I said, hey, why don't you sell that to me? He gave me some crazy blank price. I said, man, I could have stole the blank. The blank been out here for weeks. I could have come and took it and you could sell it to me for some blank price. How about this? I give you $20. You help me carry it down the block. Monkey Fresh said, I hate the turnstile. He said he first went down there, it was just a bunch of crates filled with records. 2 turntables and a microphone. That's all Monkey Fresh needed to see. Like Kim Shabazz says, he has that same turnstile in his new home. It leads from the studio to the bathroom. Mark is real creative when it comes to that. In his living room now, he has a booth that would sit in a restaurant that you could sit in and eat. When he was living on 43rd Street, his microphone booth was on an old glass telephone booth. That's what we recorded in. Mark is a technical genius. The 45 King, he says that Puffy been through that. Biggie, Tupac, Buster, Jay-Z been through this turnstile. A lot of people, man. Q-Tip used to sit on the turnstile. Lord Ali Baski, he appeared on 4 tracks on the 45 King Presents the Flavor Unit album. Lord says that Chill, Rob, or Latifah used to have to be the ones that asked him to throw some music on so he can freestyle. They can freestyle. And he said that they used to be down there for 3 hours like a golf round, be down for 3 or 4 hours straight freestyling. Everybody with mad material. I don't think anybody had more verses than me, Chill, Rob, and Lil' Kim. So when they said all they could say, they were still going back to back. Mark still got all them old freestyles. Used to studio some of them. He don't throw nothing away. This is very old information about the Flavor Unit and their history. It's 45 King. He passed away a few years back, unfortunately. So 45 King, when he was live, he said that he was pressing up on any rap records because nobody was finishing them. You had to have a finished song instead of just a freestyle. So I just kept the MCs off where he didn't have too many problems selling records. So Shirab G says that he was one of the later members to come along. It was Latifah, Patchy, Latifah, just those 3. Mark used to give Red Alert beats for maybe a year before Shirab G even met him. And Red Alert would just play the beat on the show when he would interview people, and nobody would rhyme to it. Like Kim Shabazz says that he had been hearing his name on the radio through Red Alert on 98.7. He used to be playing all these different joints with this 45 King special. And then Lakim Shabazz asked Biz to give him his number. And Lakim Shabazz called Mark and he remembered him and went over to his house a few times and kicked some rhymes for him. Eventually, Lakim Shabazz met the rest of the original Flavor Unit members and developed a family structure where they all come to 45 King's house with vibe to beats. 45 King Red started to play a little demo that 45 King made with Marky Fresh. Red Alert put 45 King on. He was the first person on the radio that took interest. Then 45 King knew Chuck Chill Out. Also, 45 King grew up with Chuck Chill Out up in the Bronx. And 45 King, can't forget him. Then Aaron Futch. I think it's Futch. Fooch. I think it's Futch. Owner of Tough City Records said that Red Alert was a DJ of great honesty. He played a record if he liked it. You didn't have to pay him. He was partial to the 45 King. So making records with the 45 King wasn't rocket science. So the whole Flavor Unit thing was something that grew hugely because of the politics of radio in New York City. So Mr. Magic was a silent partner in Cold Chillin'. He had a share of the records that he played. Marley was his DJ. They were able to make the record that they had a share in, promote it on the airwaves, combined them with Marley's excellence. Red Alert had to fight back, and so Red Alert developed his golden children, if you will, that he could get exclusives with. And the 45 King was such an artist. Biggie Down Production was another. The original Double J. At the beginning, he said that they all be all in the basement and was wondering what we should call it. Should we call it the Flavor Posse? It was already the Juice Crew, so we couldn't use the Flavor Crew. I think it was Kim Shabazz that said, let's call it the Flavor Unit. Ever since then, that's what we rolled with. The word flavor was like T from this cuts got flavor, because that's what was the first record out of the crew that was popping on the radio. Lord Albowski, that whole name was created by Latif. That whole idea was his from the beginning. Marky Fresh. Latif got his single deal first. Then Latifah got her album deal. Then Kim got his album deal. And then Marky Fresh got his single deal. And then when Latifah got her deal, that's when it became the Flavor Unit. So before that, everybody was just doing their own thing. Kim Shabazz says that the original Flavor Unit consisted of himself, Double J, Lord Ali, Abaski, Apache, Latif, Nicky D, this guy named Tahid, another guy named Jamahid, that was his brother, 45 King, and Queen Latifah. Everyone else came later. Marky Fresh would come around, but he didn't hang with the Flavor Unit members like that. He was Mark's man, but he didn't do a lot with us. Marky Fresh says that they were still down in the basement together, but as they got their deals and went on tour, they seemed not to remember who Marky Fresh was for some reason. He said Marky Fresh says he don't feel like he was ever part of the Flavor Unit, because when they did things, they didn't call him, come on Mark, let's go. They just left without him. He felt like he was the black sheep of the family. The whole group would go and he would stay, but he was doing his own thing. He was doing his own thing. Yeah, this is just a history of, the Flavor Unit. This is something that I looked up, researched. Lord Alboski says that Apache Latif, they was the first cousins of Lord Alboski, and they pretty much pulled him in the game. They was going over to East Orange, New Jersey, to Mark's house, and they asked him to go one day, and used to be in there sipping on fours while they were doing their thing, and then just got out of the blue one day, shocked all of them, and said something that he had written. And there was all the ground rolling and laughing and cracking up. If there was one verse after the other, it never stopped. All it did was get better. Flavor Unit was a lot of MCs, so the competition was really healthy and it was always present. So you don't want to waste no time, appear like you don't know what you're doing. Other rappers is watching, man. You got Latif and Patchy standing right there. They nice. Mark would try to gas you up when you were in the booth. You know, Coogee Rap gonna hear this blank. Don't be no suck in there. He'd walk off and you'd be like, yeah, Kenny and them might listen. And you try to bring it to make sure you don't sound whack when they hear it. So the Assassination Squad, the Juice Crew had dropped the Symphony, according to Kim Shabazz. We were rivals. We were all cool, according to Kim Shabazz. Like I said, Kim said he knew Biz, said that they wanted to give everybody a posse song that can possibly run neck and neck with the Symphony. It was fun doing Flavor Unit Assassination Squad. Mark found the beat. One day we came over his crib. He was like, yo, listen to this James Brown loop. I want all y'all rhyming on it for this compilation album. So Chill Rob G said that when they was in the studio, they were like, we might have to clear this with Stufan, the owner of Wild Pitch Records. We don't want to deal with Stufan, so himself and Latif was off that record, and they was both there before they recorded, and they were just wilding in the booth. And they should have recorded that, and that would have been a hot record. Then Aaron said that he contributed to the creation of the Kim Shabazz persona. Listening to the hip hop shows, some of the dedications came from prison, people with Islamic names. So MC Lakim became Kim Shabazz. All due respect to his legitimate involvement with the Islamic faith, but we played it up. At that time, Aaron believed that the royal of a record store called Music Factory in Times Square, this national communication medium, he knew that European tourists shop there too. So I made the Lakim Shabazz album just so he could put him in a picture, the Kufi and the Ashiki, and they could just you can use the whole body on the cover because they were Levi's and Pro-Cats sticking out from under the Ashiki. Lakim Shabazz says that he had knowledge himself when he was 13. He didn't get signed to Tough Shit until he was 20. So travel to Africa was always a dream of his. Never in his lifetime did he think he'd be doing a video there. The Lost Tribes of Baz. Lakim represented the idea to Aaron before he knew it. He got a call saying he was going to Egypt. To this day, he was grateful, and he think he's the only rapper to ever actually film a video there. There was no props. I'm actually floating down the Nile River. He was there for a week, Lakim, and stayed in different parts of the country. He was in Luxor, Aswan, and Cairo. It was a beautiful experience. Then you get Dante Ross. He had something to say about this. He said 45 King came to Dante Ross at the Latin Quarter. He put headphones in a Walkman and said, "Yo, it was some crazy poem we used to have on Red Alert." He played on beats. He's like, "Oh my blank, you're incredible. I never heard nothing like that. I was just so impressed." He was like, "You have any groups?" He was like, "I got my whole flavor unit. I'm gonna come play you blank." He called him, Dante Ross with Fat Five Freddy on the phone and started playing him artists. He played him Queen Latifah. And he was like, "She sounds dope." He brought her to meet him. Then played Basketball Down the Block for Tommy Boy with his man Latif. Ended up signing her. Dante Ross was there when they made the first two singles, and the thing that is one I'm most proud of what was done by Dante Ross. For the teamwork aspect, Ali Baski said, anything you hear with 45 where he's rhyming on a song, either he wrote it or Kim Shabazz wrote it. The art didn't get royalties or nothing for it. Though it just did it for him because that's his man. So if you look at Latifah's first album, he wrote a song on there for her too. He wrote his verses. That's Blank was hot for a duo. It had the Vicious Horns on there. Kim Shabazz says, out of all the MCs in the Flavor Unit, I developed the closest relationship with Apache and Latif because they were brothers. Himself and Apache were real tight. Apache would stay on people to be the best you can be. He brought the beast out of it. Well, like him. Lyrically, he did the same for him. Like him. So what a lot of people don't know is a lot of the rhymes that they hear on Apache's album, like Kim Shabazz wrote, and a lot of stuff that you hear from him, Apache wrote. So he would give him certain ideas and would give him certain ideas. Like him would give certain ideas to Apache. And then he said you'll hear our influence on Latifah's album. Kim Shabazz wrote a song. It's called "Queen of Royal Badness." Some of her lyrics on King and Queen's Creation. Kim Shabazz wrote that. Some of her lyrics on Ladies First. Kim and Apache wrote. Then he talked about the changing the guard. Now you got Lord Labaski says that it's himself, Latif, Chirag G, Lakim. Everybody learned from mistakes. So Apache just weighed everything out to see how this game was going to go. Latifah had the first best deal. I think Double J had a chance with 4th and Broadway. Now Apache got the next deal when he brought Gangsta Blink out. Then came all the new Flavor Unit people, Noted by Nature, Black Sheep, and all the cats. They learned from our mistakes not to jump in the fire like that. So like Kim Shabazz says, how Noted by Nature got down with the Flavor Unit, they used to go over to Mark's house, Noted by Nature, and chill. One day he showed up as a videotape, a short videotape of these guys from East Orange, and it was Tretch and Vinny. Their name was The New Style. They were rhyming after we listened to it. I said, the other guy is okay, but I'm really feeling the guy with the braids. That was Tretch. Apache was like, yeah, I like him too. So that was me. That was that. Me and Apache started taking Tretch out with us to all these little industry parties. And before you knew it, we had Tretch in the MC battle for the new music seminar. We were taking him to meet Latifah and Shakim, and they got a deal with Tommy Boy. Chirag G says that he was on the road somewhere at the time, and when he came back, Latifah and Mark and Apache were in the basement, and they were talking about how Latifah and Shakim came toward and told them they would incorporate the name Flavor Unit and said, "Word. So what did y'all say?" And they said, "We're gonna rock with this because it's gonna end up to everybody's benefit. They're gonna have the company name, but we're all gonna share the profits." And he was like, "Did everybody sign deals that said that?" They like, "Nah, we didn't get that part yet." Kim Shabazz says Latifah was the one who became the most successful. She had the finance to incorporate the name to build a brand around it. We sat down as a unit and discussed this, and everyone came to the agreement that it was okay for her to do that. So she incorporated the name. They got Flavor Unit Management. Eventually, they built the label and a movie company, and the rest is history. At one point in time, you had a family knit circle. As they say, money changes people. The 45 King says that he was blinking up his career by smoking English dust and work out that he was doing all these types of drugs so people didn't want any beats as bad as they did at the beginning. Marky first says that he was upset that he allowed himself to do that. Warner gave him a recording deal and a budget for $250,000 and acted like he had $7 million. He got 3 apartments in one building, only lived in one. One was supposed to be for the office and one for the studio. That was a waste of money, so he could have bought a house and put everything in there. People started coming out of the woodwork. I never seen them in my life, and he just giving them money. I say within a year, all that was gone. He had to move back to his mom's house and back in the basement. So you know how some people win the lottery and just go crazy. That's what happened to him. I guess he thought it was gonna last forever. The guy that gave him the deal dropped him like a top potato. Lakim Shabazz, he says that he didn't think Mark was able to handle the fame. Fortunate that the way he had came in like that. He stayed by his side, Lakim, all through that turmoil. Carries a lot of pain from what he did in the industry, and that's those little demons that goes following him. Party's over. Lord Elabowski says Apache got the biggest shine, not including for nobody by Nature and Latifah. As far as the original Flavor Unit cats, he had a $250,000 budget with his label Tommy Boy. Apache did show after show after show. He used to get anywhere from 7Gs to 20Gs a show. He went through some money. This guy used to get so high and drunk, his whole thing was a big old party. Then he blew it all the way up to 300 and something pounds. And mind you, he's like only 5'9". The guy's only most bedridden from getting so big. Kim Shabazz says that once his album had came out, there was excessive drinking, excessive smoking, and it had gotten outrageous. His death was because of heart failure. When he died, a part of me died because that was my man through thick and thin. It would make you stand up and be the best that you can be lyrically, and I love him for that. He'll always be my man for life. Rob G, he says the Flavor Unit was a beautiful thing when it happened, but it's over. The Juice Crew was great when it was jumping off. That's done. We were all trapped in that little bubble right there and blew out of it. Great memories and good friends left over. It was cool. Kim Shabazz says that the music industry can get a whooping on you. If you don't have nobody in your corner trying to direct you in the right direction, it can get you. Speaking from experience, like Kim Shabazz says, and he's not going to sit around and kick Latifah's back in. However, if we were still a tight family, we should be under her umbrella. It's not like we want to be rich. We should put us in a situation where at least we all working under the Flavor Unit umbrella. Knowing that Latifah and Shakim are one-time millionaires, no way, shape, form, or fashion, should 45 can't be worried about how he's going to pay his rent ever. Lakim wish Latifah all the success in the world and have nothing but love for her, Shakim. Queen Latifah would not vote for comment. Apache passed away at the age of 45 on January 22nd, 2010, as well as Mikey Fresh died in May of that same year. So this is an article piece that was done. That's the oral history of the original Flavor Unit. And this is what you got. This is what I talked about, all the greatness that came from this unit in the late 80s, how they came into their own, and how successful they were, the music that they were making. Mostly from Jersey. It's a Jersey thing. I know going to what I see right here is MCs did from New York City, Northern New Jersey. But it's a Jersey thing, man. We talk about what they was doing over in Jersey. It was definitely, unique and different, the kind of music that they were making. All right, so that's it for a look at the Flavor Unit, underrated rap clique. I think they are underrated as a clique because of what they done. They'll bring something different to the table. For what was going on at the time is just that I think they fall under the radar when it comes to other cliques. So I just wanted to talk about that, and that's it. So that's it, man. My time is up. I'm done. Till then, talk to you soon.